Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 9 o'clock and it's time for another video. And today I'm going to be doing a video on how to become a magical parent, how to raise a magical kid, how to have a kid that's a magician. I don't know how to call this video. I don't know what to call this video, but this has been one of the most requested videos on the channel. Now, everybody knows that my son Ryland loves magic, and he's 10, and over the course of the last few years especially, he's achieved an awful lot, partly because of being on the Craig and Ryland review show, partly because of being on Britain's Got Talent, partly because of entering the London Close-Up Magician of the Year last year, partly because of being in the Bear Pit at Blackpool, releasing his own trick at Blackpool this year, being on the Gala show at Blackpool the year before, performing at the IBM Convention 2022 as part of West End Magic, performing at the Magic Circle on their Gala show twice. You know, there's so much that this kid has achieved at the age of 10. It's unbelievable. He's got a high profile. And a lot of people say to me, how did you get your child into magic? I've got a kid and he couldn't care less about magic, or I'm planning on having kids in the next year or two. How, what advice can you give me to get my kid into magic so that he enjoys magic as much as Ryland? And here's the thing, look, right. I love magic. Ryland loves magic. And I've got a list of things here that I can go through with you. I'll tell you right now, you can't, and I'll go through this list, but before I do, the most important thing that I need to tell you is you can't force this on any child. My daughter, Thea, who's 2 years younger than Ryland, she's 8 years old, she loves watching magic. She's Ryland's biggest fan, and she's very proud of herself that she can do a really good vanish, but she doesn't want to be a magician by any stretch of the imagination. She's got other things that she wants to do, and that's absolutely fine. You encourage your children to find the path in life that they want to find. All I was able to do was open the door for both Ryland and Thea. It meant that Ryland walked through, which is fantastic, and as long as he's interested in magic, that's great. I will continue to be there to support him, but it doesn't mean I'm any less proud of Thea. My daughter is amazing. She does fantastic things. She's one of the kindest, gentlest, and most caring, beautiful girls that I've ever met, and she's walking her own path in life, and that's absolutely fine. But the point I'm trying to tell you is you can't force this, but I can give you some tips of things that I went through to encourage Ryland to get into magic. Because here's the thing, my dad was into aeromodeling. He made little air models, and I loved my dad, really did. Every day that I think back to him. Let's not make this sad. I love my dad very much, but I hated aeromodeling, and I never wanted to do it, and I never ever wanted to do it. It drove me up the wall, but I did it for a while because my dad wanted me to do it. And I never wanted to have that experience to Ryland. I never wanted to force magic onto him. I wanted to be there if he wanted to learn it. But it's not like I'm staring him down, being a pushy parent saying, now you need to do this, now you need to do this, now you need to do this. Because if you do that, ultimately what you're going to do is you're going to drive your kids away. Look, the best thing that ever happened to me in magic was Ryland getting into magic. I speak to a lot of people all of the time that say, I've lost my mojo. I don't know what to do. I love magic, but I don't want to practice. I don't want to perform. I don't have an interest in buying new stuff or looking at new stuff. It's just not something I'm interested in. And to those people, I'll say this, I understand. And you know what? I very possibly maybe would have been there myself if it wasn't for my son. I don't have the time to lose interest in magic because I'm too busy with him. Every morning, he'll wake me up by jumping on my bed and going, pick a card, Dad. Hey, I've worked out a new way to solve a Rubik's Cube. Do you want to see it, Dad? And I'm forced. I'm the one that's being forced by him to love magic. It's not like I'm standing over to him saying, now learn this trick. That's not the case at all, because it's the other way around. But you know what? I've got a relationship with my son, which is amazing. Yes, he's my son, and he can be a little pain in the butt sometimes. He can be a little pain in the butt sometimes. But we've got an amazing relationship with each other. We've got a relationship with each other that I wished I had with my dad. My dad was very distant. I loved him very, very much. I loved him very, very dearly. But we had literally nothing in common. and we were very distant to each other many times, and that's something that I regret. And I love the fact that I've got a relationship with my son where we can literally just sit down anywhere. We can be walking through a park and we can just have a conversation that nobody else will understand other than us. And that's an amazing experience. And if you're a parent, I would say one of the best things that has ever happened to me was having my son get into magic, so that my son and I have this common thing that we both love. But it's not because it's forced. It's not because, I'm making him want to do magic. We can't, not at all. He wants, and anyone who's seen Ryland perform, you'll notice that he loves it. He comes alive when he walks out on stage. Anyone who's seen him in a convention will tell you when he's not on stage, he's very shy, he's very quiet, and he doesn't really speak. But the second he's in front of an audience, whether that be demming on the magic exam stand, whether that be standing in front of a camera on the review show or an Instagram video, whether that be performing on stage to 1,000 people or 10 people or 2 people, the fact still remains that when he walks out on that stage, he comes alive every single time. He loves performing. So people ask me, like I said, how do I get my kid interested in magic? When I have a kid, how can I get them interested in magic? I've got a 6-month-old. How do I get my 6-month-old interested in magic? I don't think that there's anybody that's more qualified than me to answer this question with the amount that Ryland's done over the last couple of years. So let's talk about it. I have 12 points. I sat down, I thought about it, and I spoke to Ryland about this as well. And I came up with 12 points that you can work on that might help you build a relationship like I've got with Ryland, and how to have this really special, unique relationship that's all based around magic. So let's go into it. There's 12 points, and we're going to start with number 1. So the first point is make magic fun. You want to make it fun. You don't want to ever feel like magic's a chore. You don't want to make any aspect of magic being like this chore that they have to do, whether it be watching magic, or if you turn around to your kid and go, hey, should we watch a magic show, or should we watch a magic DVD, or should we watch a magic performance, or should we learn magic, and they say no, fine. No problem. What would you like to do? Because that is the start of a slippery slope that you don't want to go down. Make it fun. Make it enjoyable. Kids love having fun. They do. They love having fun. So the way to get them interested in magic, and more importantly, the way to keep their interest in magic, is by making it fun and then not forcing it on them. So, I love wrestling. Anybody who knows me knows that I've loved wrestling since I was 18 years old. I watch all the pay-per-views, Raw, SmackDown, AEW, TNA. I'm a huge wrestling nerd. And I tried to get Ryland into wrestling. He's just not into it. That's absolutely fine. Not a problem. He doesn't have to be. I know if I wanted to, I could make him watch it with me. I could say, come on, Ryland, please watch it with me. And he would, but he wouldn't enjoy it. It wouldn't be fun, and I'd be pushing him away. And you need to be aware of that as the parent of the child. Make it fun, make it enjoyable, and make it something that they want to do. That's half the battle. Okay, point number 2. At the beginning, if your plan is to get your child into magic and you want them to follow in your footsteps, and by the way, just on that point, there are so many advantages to kids getting into magic. First of all, it improves their self-esteem. Second of all, it makes them one of the most popular kids in school. Third of all, it improves their self-confidence. It improves their presentation skills, their manual dexterity. It gets them away from sitting in front of the TV all the time. There's so many advantages to getting a child into magic. And if you're wanting to get your child into magic, I've put down here, get the child interested in watching magic before teaching them any magic. Before you say, hey, I'm going to teach you how to make a coin disappear. Get them interested in watching magic. Now, with Ryland, that was at the age of 2. And I didn't do it on purpose, in all honesty, But I would be sitting there while he was there crawling around on the floor and walking around and bumping into stuff. And I'd be sitting there watching something on TV, watching a performance on TV. And I found that he would crawl onto the sofa and come and sit with me and just be watching the magic. And he'd be transfixed. And so I would put other magicians on and other magicians on. And it got to a point where he was coming to me to watch magic. He wasn't learning magic. He wasn't interested in learning how it was done, but he was just enjoying watching magic. And I think that's the most important thing. Think about school, right? If a child's interested in a subject in school, they're going to spend more time, they're going to be more invested in learning about that subject if they're interested in it. So Ryland, for example, loves mathematics. He really does. He's top set at mathematics. He absolutely loves it. His mental arithmetic is insane. He loves maths, so he's very easy to teach. English, creative writing, creatively comes up with amazing ideas. Getting him to sit there and write, it's like, literally, it's like pulling teeth. He doesn't like writing. He doesn't like putting pen to paper and writing. Have to make him do it because he's not that interested in the actual writing part of things. And it's the same with magic. If you are interested in a subject, then it's more easy to then go, hey, shall I teach you how to do some of this stuff? So start with getting them interested in watching magic before you start teaching them magic. Okay, point number 3, when you've got them to a point that they're interested in magic and you think, right, okay, I'm going to teach them a trick. Point number 3, start with instant gratification. So what do I mean with start with instant gratification? Well, start with something that they can do immediately, that they can literally do, and they will feel so proud and clever themselves. So Ryland tells everybody his first trick that he learned at the age of 2 was making a coin disappear. That's what he tells everybody. Every time he does an interview, he's even got this part on stage in his stage show where he makes coins jump from one place to another. And he talks about, hey, at the age of 2, I made coins. It's actually not true. His first trick that he learned was the dice explosion. He learned the dice explosion. They're making the dice turn into... He doesn't remember this at all, and he'll swear blind that that's not true. Like he can remember what he was doing early on when he just turned 2. But it was, because I wanted to teach him something that he could do immediately, right? And for me, that was the dice explosion. I knew if I just gave him this and I shook his hand, he'd be able to do it straight away. And I gave it him. I first of all performed it for him. I had 2 dice explosions. So I first of all performed it for him so I could show him the trick. And he was like, oh my God, it's amazing. Because he got used to watching magic on TV. And then I grabbed the other one and I was like, right, put your thumb there, put your finger there. And I helped him shake it. And in front of him, while he was holding on to it, it changed. His little mind was blown. His little mind was blown right there and then. And he was like, oh, how did I do that? I then broke it down for him and I taught him how to do it. And within about half an hour, he was running around, doing this for the dog, resetting it, doing it for the other dog, doing it for his mom, doing it for absolutely anybody who would pay any attention. Now, off the back of that, I then taught him the second trick, which was how to make a coin disappear, which is what he remembers. But I wanted him to have that experience of a trick and feeling proud of himself, yeah? So point number 3, start with instant gratification. Start by teaching them something that they can do immediately, that's super easy to do, that makes them feel happy with themselves, because that's really important. Point number 4, following on from point number 3, point number 4, then go into some aspirational stuff. So what I mean by that is, in Ryland's case, it was a coin vanish. I wanted to teach him something that would take some time to practice. I taught him a coin vanish, and I taught him how to do a very simple finger palm coin vanish. And I've got a video of him doing this somewhere, of him at the age of... at a very young age, I think it was at the age of 2. Of course it was the age of 2. At the age of 2, learning how to make a coin disappear. And hey, for sure, it took him a while to learn it. It took him probably about 3 or 4 weeks to learn how to make this coin disappear. It wasn't something that he picked up immediately. It's something that he took a little bit of a while. But while he was doing it, I was teaching him other stuff like the dice bomb. I was teaching him other self-working tricks that gave him instant gratification. But I kept pulling him back to this coin vanish until he could get this coin vanish almost perfect. And when he could get that coin vanish perfect, I was like, brilliant. There you go. Look, now show everybody the coin vanish. And I gave him something that was aspirational that he could practice on, because I want him to understand that if something's worth doing, it's worth practicing. And it made him go back and do it. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay, but you can do it better than that. Put your thumb here, do this, do that. So start with instant gratification is point 3. And point 4 is then teach them some stuff that's aspirational while continuing with the instant gratification stuff. And this is where the Alakazam range of magic and the Apprentice line range of magic and Marvin's magic especially, that's where all of this stuff comes in, because a lot of the stuff that you'll get from there is very easy to do. Okay, so point number 5 is video them and show them how awesome it looks. Because the thing is, they don't realize how good the trick looks until they see themselves. They're used to watching videos. Kids these days, not when I was a kid, but kids these days are used to watching TVs and iPads and screens and so on and so forth. So very early on, I would be videoing him and showing him the video back and going, look, this is you doing the dice bomb. This is you. Look how good that looks. And he's like, oh, amazing. This is you doing the coin vanish. Look, this is you doing this trick. This is you. Look, you've just hit those 2 solid rings together. How good's that? Look how good you are. And I think that part of this isn't just show them how awesome it looks, but give them positive affirmation. Tell them that they're doing well. Encourage everybody. So when somebody comes around the house, Ryland was showing magic to everybody. When anybody came around the house, I would say to them, look, Ryland's going to show you a trick. Frankly, it sucks. He's not very good at it yet, but can you react really well? That would be amazing for me. And I remember speaking to Nemid. It was really funny. About a year ago, about a year ago, me and Nemid were doing a show with Ryland. The 3 of us were together, doing a show together. We were on the same bill. Can't remember what it was. And Ryland was showing Nemid a trick. He turned around to Ryland and he said, I'm so glad you're good now, because I had to sit around for years when you were little and just pretend you were good and watch you perform over and over again and act impressed when really you were rubbish. So I'm so glad that I can actually watch you now and actually appreciate the magic that you're doing. But I used to condition everybody who came round, hey, Ryland's going to show you a trick. I'd like you to freak out for me, please. And it wasn't because I was trying to fool him into thinking it was good. It was because I wanted that positive affirmation, videoing him and showing him back, getting people to react positively to the magic. That was really important to me. I wanted him to know that he was on the right track and he was on the right path. So that's point number 5. Don't overlook it. It's very important. Point number 6, when you've got to a point where they've learned some magic and they've kind of put a few different tricks together. Point number 6 is look for performing opportunities everywhere. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, there's one thing learning magic, but there's another thing performing it. And you know as well as me, there's a lot of people out there that learn magic and never perform it. And for me, the best thing about being a magician is actually going out and performing it for people, being a performer. And the only way you can do that is by finding opportunities outside of your friend and family group that you can go and perform. And it was really important to me that if Ryland wanted to be a performer when he's older, he had that experience. I wanted him to know right from a very early age that it's not scary going out and performing. And it helped by the fact that I run entertainment agencies. And so right from when he was a baby, he was surrounded by magicians that were talking about going out on stage. He would be going to live magic shows. We'd be going to various different places that our team were performing, and we'd go and watch them perform. You know, we've got the contract with theme parks around where we live, so we'd go and watch different performers perform at those theme parks, making sure that everything was okay, doing spot checks, but at the same time we'd take the kids with us, so they saw lots and lots and lots of performances all of the time. And I wanted Ryland to have lots of performance opportunities as well, so I looked out for those, as many performing opportunities as I could. His first show was at the age of 3, and it was for his nursery. Was it 3 or 4? Maybe 3, maybe 4, I can't remember. It was for his nursery, and he did the entire magic show for his nursery. He put a half-an-hour show together at the age of 4, and he had change bags with silk handkerchiefs, and it went great. It went really, really good, especially considering he was 4 years old. Then, at the same age of 4, his Sarah's brother, Jonathan, got married, and I was like, hey, Ryland can do the close-up magic. And Sarah was like, can he? I'm like, yeah, he can. Absolutely. I'll chaperone him from table to table, but he can go and do the close-up magic. He can go around the tables and he can do the magic. And at that time, he was really good at doing the Timmy toilet paper routine. And it was so funny seeing a 4-year-old vomit paper out of his mouth, and they'd be walking around with his change bag, and he'd be walking around with his Rubik's Cube. He couldn't solve it back then, but he had a cube shell, and he'd solve it inside a bag, and he'd do all of this stuff. And it always, every opportunity I could find, I would go with him. Obviously, Sarah would go with him as well. We'd both go with him, but I'd look for opportunities everywhere, and I'd say to him, hey, would you like to perform? Because I never wanted to push him into a position where he was performing. I'd say, look, this is an opportunity. Do you want to do it? And that's what I've continued to do through his whole life. When the BGT opportunity came along, and I said, hey, would you like to do Britain's Got Talent? If you want to do it, that's fine. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. If you want to pull out of it while you're doing it at any point, that's fine. But if you want to do it, I will be there to support you, and I will support you 100% of the time. Do you want to do it? Hey, the Magic Circle would like you to perform on the gala show. Would you like to do it? Hey, this has happened. Would you like to do it? Every opportunity he's had, I've presented it to him and said, would you like to do it? And I've said the most important thing is having fun. It's not about winning at all. It's never about winning. You're 10 years old. Nobody expects you to win competitions, ever. Nobody expects you to do anything. We're just going to go out and have fun. You enjoy performing. Performing is fun. We're going to go out and have fun together. And that's what it has to be. And I said to him, especially in Britain's Got Talent, if we're standing there backstage and it's 2 minutes away from you walking out in the semi-finals and you don't want to do this, you just turn around to me and say, Dad, I don't want to do it. And we'll stop right there and then, because this has to be fun. And the second it's stressful and the second it's not fun, that's the moment that we have to stop right there. So, yeah, that's important. Look for performing opportunities everywhere and make the whole thing fun. That was point number 1. We're bringing you back to point number 1 now. Point number 7, don't neglect other hobbies. That's really important. Don't make it all about the magic. There's lots of other things to do. Ryland likes drumming. He's got 2 full-size drum kits. One at the bottom of the garden, that's a normal one, and then one up at the house, which is an electronic one, thank God, where we can't hear it. 2 drum kits. He's also swimming. He's a really great swimmer. Swims lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots. He's also in the school team for football. He plays football an awful lot. He's a goalkeeper, like I was. So he's he's got lots of other hobbies. Computer games. He's got a Switch. He loves his Switch. I love Switch. We are currently playing Zelda Tears of the Kingdom almost every single night. Me and Thea and Ryland are playing it every single night. We're loving it. We're having a great time. People think that Ryland's all about magic 24/7 because they see him doing so much magic. But that's absolutely not the case. He's not magic 24/7 by any stretch of the imagination. Yes, he does a lot of magic, but there's a lot of other things he does as well. We could go literally a week without doing magic. In fact, I don't think we've done any magic since Sunday. Sunday he did magic. I'm filming this on Wednesday. It's now Wednesday afternoon. Don't know why I'm looking at my watch. I haven't got a watch, but we're now filming this on Wednesday afternoon, and I don't think we've done any magic, and we're not going to tonight, because tonight Sarah's out with her friends, and I've got the kids all night, and it's going to be a pizza and Zelda party until they go to bed. Dogs, me, kids, pizza. No magic, just lots of exploring the kingdom of Hyrule. And that's what it's all about. It needs to be that it's not just about magic 24/7, okay? There can be days when we go without magic, but then there's days where day after day after day, it's quite intense, you know? It just depends. Point number 8, make it a bonding experience. Make this whole magic thing something that you can share together. One thing that we do is we bond together over magic. I bring him into so when I'm creating a new trick, I sit it down when I'm creating it, not when I've finished the creation, but as I'm creating it, I will bring him over and I'll say, look, Ry, this is my idea. This is where I'm at. How can you help? and he'll come up with ideas. And you've seen that on the review show. He comes up with a whole bunch of ideas. When I'm putting a show together for him, we script everything, and then he will learn the script, but then he'll ad-lib from it. He writes the script for me. I'm like, right, you tell me what you want to say at this point. I can't write it because I can't speak like, I'm 47. I can't speak like a 10-year-old. What would you say at this point? Hey, I want to, right, this is a new trick that we've got for the review show. This is what it does. I don't like it. Let's see if we can make it better. It's why he's created 2 or 3 of his own tricks, because I've got him into that creative mindset. We're bonding together over it. Rather than just me doing tricks and him doing tricks, we work together all of the time. Rarely do I practice on my own. Rarely does he practice on his own. We practice together and we have an absolute blast doing it. That's my favourite part of being a magical parent. Am I a magical parent? I suppose I am. That's my favourite part. You know, having this bond that I share with my son that nobody really understands. Thea doesn't understand it. Sarah doesn't understand it. Very few people understand it because it's just what me and Ryland have together, and it's really special. Point number 9, bring magic into other interests. So I'll give you a perfect example. I mentioned earlier on that Ryland hates creative writing. He loves the creative aspect, but he hates writing. So the way I got around making it more interesting for him was by speaking to his teacher and having part of what he was doing about scripting new tricks for his show. And I was like, right, okay, Ryan, you don't like writing. Here's what we're going to do. You are going to write the script for this trick. You wanted to put this trick in your show, didn't you? Yes. Okay. You are going to put this trick in your show, but you have to write the script on your own. You have to come up with the idea for the routine. And I don't want it to be what the instructions came up with. It's got to be something completely different. You've got to come up with the routine. Then you've got to script it. You've got to write it down. I want a full script. And then you can deliver it to me. And then when you've got it, we're going to look at it together. And we're going to see if we can improve it. And we're going to improve it. And then when we've got it perfect, he'll give it to his teacher. And then his teacher will look at it and hopefully she'll be liking it. And then he performs the trick in his school to his class based off this script that he's written himself. That's how I was able to get him more interested in creative writing, by bringing magic into it. He loves magic. He doesn't like creative writing, but he understands the importance of having to be able to do creative writing because as a magician, you have to be able to write and script and so on and so forth. So, yeah, bring magic into other interests. Whatever the interests are, try and combine magic into that. Point number 10. Watch performances together. And I mentioned this at the very beginning. I talked about, hey, I started off by getting him to watch magic, but continue that along. We watch performances all the time. We sit down and watch AGT, we watch BGT, we watch all the T's, we watch talent shows with the magicians on it from Canada. We just saw an amazing time travel thing the other day from all the different countries. We watch magic shows from years gone by. We watch old Paul Daniels videos, old David Copperfield videos. You know, we just spend hours watching magic and just having fun with it, not watching it to learn it, to appraise it, or just to watch it, just because we both love magic. And I think it's important that you nurture that love. And one way you do that isn't by constantly learning new tricks or practicing, but a lot of the time it's about watching things together. It's about just enjoying watching magic. I'm a lover of magic. If I didn't perform, if I never performed another day in my life, I would still love magic. If I never created another trick in my life, I would still love magic. And I still love watching it, and I think that's really important. Number 11. We're almost near the end now. Number 11. Work on new material together. Work on new material together. I think that's very, very important. You know, I'm always working on new stuff. Either I'm creating new stuff or I'm working on new stuff for my act. I'm working on new stuff for his act. He is involved in every single process. There's not a single trick that you see released from now on moving forward that Ryland hasn't had some part in. Because he is part of my creative process. Because very early on, I will go to him and I will say, right, okay, Ry, What do you think? And he makes some very intelligent ideas and has improved a lot of the stuff that I do. And that's because I'm nurturing his creativity. And I think it's very important to nurture his creativity. I think it's very important to nurture all of that. And the way to do that is by just working on material together, whether you're creating something or learning a new trick. If you're learning a new trick, go through that process together of how you can make it better. Right, Ryland, okay, so we've got this trick right here. It's by TCC. This is the trick. There's no live performance. How can we make it better? Can we make it better from a technical point of view, or can we make it better from a presentational point of view? What do you think? What's your thoughts on this? And hopefully you'll see that coming across in the review show as well. Very important. And the final point, number 12, keep it fun. I said at the beginning, make it fun. Final part, keep it fun. Don't ever lose your temper with your kid. I did that once, one time only, never again. I lost my temper. It was, I didn't lose my temper, but I snapped. And I shouldn't have. And it was it was a couple of days before the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. And I was like, right, I was trying to rehearse with him his act. I'm like, dude, we need to get this down. And he's like, yeah. I was like, Ryland, now. And I immediately regretted it because I was just focused on, oh my God, my kid is going on national television. Jesus, I need to make sure he's ready for this. Because to be clear, a lot of people say to me, oh, Ryland was on BGT, you must be proud. Yes, immensely proud, and also felt like the worst parent in the world up until the point he went out on TV. Because when you're standing there in the wings and you're watching your 9-year-old at the time go out and perform on live national television in front of millions of people, you think, oh my God, I've just sent my kid out to be judged. I'm the worst parent in the world, and I'm not even there with him. There's nothing I can do. If it goes wrong, he's on his own. I felt like the worst parent in the world, and then the second he walked off stage and he smashed it, I felt like the best parent in the world. And it's a very weird range of emotions that I felt, and I think what you can't do, it doesn't matter how much. You don't want to be stressed about this whole thing, and you don't want to cause any stress to the child. You really don't. And that's the one and only time I've snapped at him, and I'm never going to do that again. And I was like, look, dude, let's take a break. Let's go and have an ice cream, and then we can get back to it. And, you know, I think that's important. Don't overload them. It comes back to the most important thing, making it fun. Look, here's the thing. I'm 47 years old. Have I said that before? I feel old. I'm 47 years old, and I have achieved an awful lot in my career. I've never been on national television. I've never been a superstar in this industry. Never, ever, ever, not in a million years. However, I've achieved a lot. I've done a lot, and I'm happy with what I have achieved. And my goal moving forward is to help Ryland hit his goals. Now, if he turned around to me tomorrow and said, I'm giving up magic, I'd be like, okay, cool. I'm not going to stand in your way. You do what you want to do. But as long as he's interested in magic, as long as he's interested in performing, as long as he's interested in continuing down the path that he's taken, I will continue to be there for him. I am more than happy to have any and all opportunities that land on my lap move over to his lap. Because for me, he's the future. I've done a lot. I've experienced a lot. Now, I'm not planning on going anywhere anytime soon. But I'm 47 years old. My best years are behind me. Yes, I've still got 20 or 30 years left. At least, I plan to live forever or die trying. But it's now time for me to help my son. And if I live till I'm 100, and then at the 100 years old, I die, and I'm able to say, well, you know what? My son achieved his dreams, and my son achieved his dreams because of what I was able to do for him to help him, then I achieved what I wanted to. And you know what? I worried when when he was younger. I worried, are his dreams my dreams? Is he wanting to be a magician just because I'm a magician and we have this great relationship with each other? Is that what this is? And then I watch him perform, and I encourage you to go back and watch any of his performances. You can just tell he loves magic. You can tell he loves performing. He loves performing and he loves magic. And I think if I never did magic again, he'd still love magic. And as long as he does, I'm going to be here for him to help him in any way that I can. That is my main goal. Not creating another million magic tricks or getting another 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. I don't care. what I care about is Ryland achieving his goals. And I think that's what every father wants for their child, right? And obviously I want Thea, my daughter, to achieve her goals as well. And I'll help her in any way that I can. But I'm more connected, networked, experienced, and knowledgeable in what Ryland wants to do. And so I find it easier to help Ryland. And I've got a great relationship with Thea, but in a completely different way. So yeah, I mean, that's my 12-point plan. For anybody who asked for a video on how to raise an awesome kid magician, or how to be a magical parent, or whatever you want to call this video, then that's what this is all about. There's no hard or fast rules. There's no guidebook that I can give you that's going to help you raise a kid magician. All I can tell you is what I did and what worked for me. And I am very lucky and blessed to have, and I'm biased, obviously, but the greatest kid magician in the world, the greatest 10-year-old magician in the world is my son. And he's fearless. And I wish I could have achieved what he's achieved more at the age of 10 than most people do by the end of their career. And it's incredible. It really is. And I'm so proud of him. I think that's the most important thing. I'm so proud of him. So there you go. That's the video. Do me a favor. Let me know what you think. Was this the video that the people... If you asked for this video, is this what you were looking for? Because it's the best I've got. I think I've answered it as well as I can. Let me know in the comments down below. You want to see more videos like this? Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. And do me a favor, go join the Netrix, www.thenetrix.com. That's www.thenetrix.com. It's where Ryland gets all of his knowledge from. It's where you can get your knowledge from as well. I'll be back again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.